Here we go. We are back with yet another live session. Sunday evening, 7 p.m. local Belgian time. Hopefully, a lot of my faithful subscribers can jump on. As you may have noticed, I've been taking time to recover and heal. In the last week, I don't think I posted a video or did a live this last week. I was just focused on recovery and getting better and actually giving myself some time to heal and rest. How you doing, Life's Better? Welcome back. I'm good. I've been healing, man. I've been recovering and definitely feeling stronger and better now. You can expect a lot more content coming to the channel real soon. But yeah, I think I did like one or two live sessions post surgery, but I was just looking back at them the other day and I looked utterly exhausted. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty exhausted right now. I had a big social weekend. Um, Thank you, man. Tomorrow is actually a national holiday in Belgium. This is a weekend that everybody celebrates in Belgium because tomorrow is like the Belgian national holiday. So I just got home from doing a barbecue with my family, but I had my mind made up that I wanted to do a live session today. Um, and it was already 7 p.m. So I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it now. So here we are, guys. Ask me anything. You know the drill. I'll answer any question. I'll discuss any topic in these sessions. You guys get to pick the direction of the content. So don't hold back. Don't be shy. Take your best shot. As you can see, the swelling is a lot better. It's still not entirely gone, but we're definitely making progress in the healing department. I still have a bunch of checkups coming up. Anything new regarding girls? Nothing to talk about right now, man. I've been laying low. I've been healing. So I probably have about 4 weeks left in Belgium before I go back to Mexico City. So still, just making the most of it, man. Spending a lot of time with family. Okay, here we go. How do you feel about society's impossible standards? Good question. I like that question. I think we as a society continuously, collectively self-sabotage is what I think. One thing that I've noticed is when you take a seat and when you just look at the people, and when you just like literally look at people on the street, like and I invite any one of you listening to do this. Have a look, and you can do this anywhere, any country, any city. Just have a look at people in general. The human race is not an aesthetically beautiful race. Like we are not a beautiful species. The vast majority of us are mid as hell. Like, I'm talking simply based off of looks and physique. So, like, this idea, these people that we put on a pedestal on social media and in movies and models, like, they're not even half a percent of the world. They're more like 0.005, if even. Yet we collectively decide that that's what we agree is like beauty. But then by design, we sabotage ourselves because we can never get that. We can never attain that. Like, there's just not enough beautiful people to go around, right? So we're just basically perpetually doomed to suffer and to feel like we we ourselves are not attractive enough, or our partner is not the most attractive because we're literally chasing ghosts. We're chasing something that is just there's just not an abundance of. That's like the fish species deciding that only dolphins are good looking fish and then all the other fish are thugged. That's kind of what we're doing. So that's how I feel about society's impossible standards. It's important to, but then it's one thing knowing that is not enough because I know that on a rational level. I understand that on a rational level, but I still fall victim to it myself. I've shared on this channel multiple times my views on my own superficiality, my own hypocrisy in terms of my inability to hypothetically date somebody that would look like me. Yet I still expect people to do that with me. So yeah, it's life's hardest questions and life's biggest riddles are usually like it's easy to see through it, but it's not easy to do the work and to actually like don't fall victim to it. Like we're just constantly overridden by biological impulses that override the brain and the way we think. So it's a struggle for me as well. Like that's definitely I wish I possessed the ability to be less drawn to beauty myself. But to this day, alas, to no avail have I done so. How do you deal with wanting to do a personal thing but knowing your parents are going to react in a negative way? Hmm. Super relevant question because I'm dead set on getting another tattoo. And this time even a bigger tattoo on my left leg, my left quad. And it would basically take up my entire left quad. And I know they would hate it. But I really want to do it. And I've been going back and forth with that one. I think the thing that makes most sense is I mean, we all know like you should never live your life for your parents. You should never live your life for somebody else. You should never like this wise woman I met, she always used to say, your children are not your children. And what she meant by that was that just because you decided to make children and have kids, you don't own them. You don't get to tell them what to do. You know, they don't have to live life according to your guidelines. So obviously I have an immense amount of respect and love and adoration for my parents. So I would always really take into account like I would only push for something really hard if it was that important to me, right? And like in the case of the tattoo, honestly, I feel like they can live with it. So I'm still gonna do it. But you have to kind of make that like you have to ask yourself, life's better. Like how important is it to you? How important is this thing that they don't agree with to you? And there's a few things where I feel like you gotta go like I would opt for short term conflict and pain over long term resentment. A few of those topics are love, choice of study, choice of profession. Because if you don't go study what you want to study, or you don't pursue the relationship with the person that you want to pursue a relationship with due to your parents, you're gonna resent them in the long run. You're gonna hate them for that later on. So it's better to have the short term conflict in that regard, in my opinion, than mm, than to give them what they want in the short term, but then hate them in the end. Do you ever have a desire to just leave everyone behind to start fresh? I get these thoughts sometimes. I mean, you're talking to someone, you're asking someone who has done so time and time again. I started again in Barcelona. I started again in Sweden, and then I started again in Barcelona again. Then I started again in Mexico. I tried LA for 3 months. Like, so I've done that. Um, the thing about that is, for example, in my case, I feel like I don't have another one in me. At the age of 37, which is not that old, but I don't have another fresh start all over again in me. And maybe I do. Maybe that's just how I feel right now, but I don't consider it a real option. Like at some point, you kind of got to double down. Well, it depends on what you want, right? And if I keep saying, which I've been saying a lot, if I keep talking about wanting kids, then yeah, at some point you gotta like actually go for that. Um, so I think when the Mexico adventure comes to an end, the way I see it right now, it'll either be maybe the States. Though I say that, but I don't really see I don't see it happening. I feel like it's just hard to live in the States in a lot of ways. There's a lot of financial pressure. There's a lot of issues with immigration and green card. More than likely, my next stop after Mexico will be Europe again. So currently, I never had the desire to leave everybody behind and start fresh because I did that in Mexico. But it's interesting how I always assumed that my life would gradually only become better in Mexico City. And when I look at the sample size that I have until now, I'm 2 years and 4 months in. I feel like I peaked in my like somewhere between, yeah, like my second year, I kind of peaked. And I objectively had a better life than I do now in Mexico City. So it's interesting how you can like that's not like a linear path. Um, and but I I also did that to myself in some ways. For example, I began smoking too much weed in that last stint in Mexico City. So being here in Belgium, I've gotten off the weed smoking. I haven't been smoking weed, so I'm like a month in on that. I want to take that with me to Mexico City because I feel like I'll have a different approach. Like if you just smoke every day, you just become antisocial and tired and lazy, and you just want to be in your own little zone. So I want to give it like in my mind, I have like a year left in Mexico City. And maybe I have more left, but sometimes it's important to create urgency. It's important to create a certain sense of like, hey, there's a limit to this. Because once there's an end limit in sight, you kind of wake up and you're like, what am I doing? Like, and you kind of log back in. And I was drifting. I was drifting. So I need to create that deadline of next summer for myself. Though we're still in the middle of this summer. So I do want to be present. I don't want to, you know, wish away time. That's something I'm doing. Vice Threader, you're talking about the Islam girl still? Uh, I don't think that if you think she's like the one, like, give me some details though. How long you been seeing her? How much time have you spent with her? And remind me of your age again. You're 26. Forgot. Guys, if you support the channel, if you like the channel, you can always hit on the dollar sign below the chat box, and it allows you to make any donation to your liking. Any dollar goes a long way. So if you want to support the channel, click on the super chat button. Support your boy. I'm also going to share my PayPal if you prefer to make PayPal donations. She's the one. I met her online. We've been texting and talking. I'm going to see her in November. Hold on, bro. You're tripping so bad. You haven't met this woman in real life. If you haven't, bro, I don't give a fuck how much. I'm gonna be blunt with you, man. You gotta wake your ass up. I don't care how much you've been texting, man, and calling. That's not a real person. That's not a real relationship. Like you have not like you're talking to a phone, like like a device. Like you can't compare that to being across from each other. And then like don't even utter the words marriage, man. You're being dumb as hell. And I say that with love. But that's like you need to slow the fuck down. Like badly. And then also, let me tell you something else, a taboo. There's a real problem with men that, and I'm not saying you're one of them. I'm just saying in general. There's a lot of men that don't have access to a lot of sex and that don't have sex often. Um, and what I see is then when these men finally stumble upon somebody to have sex with, when they finally get regular sex, sex is a crazy drug. Access to daily sex is fucking wild. No pun intended. For a man. Like it as a man, if you go from not having sex to daily sex, the first 2 weeks, you don't even need sleep. I'm not trying to be funny. You can literally function off of the adrenaline, off of the pure sheer masculinity that oozes out of you because you got laid every night. You don't even need sleep. You can get by with like 2 hours a night, easy. I've been there. It's real. Like it's a crazy drug, man. And so I see men like these sometimes become so infatuated with the access to sex that they're just like, this is it. And then they go balls to the wall, all in, commit, get married, and then yeah, the novelty's gonna wear off, man. You can only have sex so many. That's why you cannot build a relationship on sex. It never works. It never works. Um, and then they the novelty wears off, but now they're committed, now they're married, and then that's why people cheat. That's how people break up. Georgia, shout out to Greece. What's up, girl? It's not a scam. I've been video calling for over a year. Gonna meet her, see where we go. I get your point. I'm moving too fast. Yeah, they're like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like I've done that. I've done the whole video call long distance thing for a year and then went to meet. Check out my video. I flew 6,000 miles to meet her. Hmm. Like I'm all for that shit. Yes, that's all good. Go meet her. Yes. Don't even think about marriage. Don't even like begin to think about the concept of marriage. Like that's wild, man. Like and if she pressures you, I'm not saying she will, but if she's like, well, because I'm Islam, we can't do anything. But if we get married, we can legally do everything, and then it's okay by Islam, tradition. And like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Like, no person should even think about the potential possibility of getting married until at least 2 years in a relationship, and that's still way too early. But there are some cases in which I could kind of get it. But yeah, 2 years is the minimum, dog. But go for it. Go meet her. Go meet that girl. See what happens. That's great, man. I'm happy. All right, guys. Please hit the thumb. I haven't asked yet today. Can we get to 15 thumbs? Because I know there's at least 5 people. So close the chat box and hit the thumb. Doesn't cost a thing, and it really helps out these lives, and it really helps out the channel. It means a lot to me if you guys could do that. Thank you. Appreciate you, whoever did that. So, guys, ask me anything. The time is now. Anything goes. Check out the shirt. It's a beautiful day in Belgium. Beautiful summer day, summer evening. Ollie, I feel like society kind of pressures one to get married and have kids. If you don't, you're considered less than. I hate these standards, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to abide. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, guys. Like, you don't really have to do anything. Like, you can really just like live life on your accord. Like, that's a real legitimate option. There is not as much pressure as you think there might be. Last night I had a dream. It was such a vivid dream, and I remember I was like, I had my lips again. I had like my bottom lip was working again, and now I remember in my dream I was like puckering my lips and looking in the mirror. It was weird because I had my scar, but then at the same time I was like puckering my lips. I wonder if there will ever be some type of technology available in the next 20 years that can drastically like help me in that regard. I am curious. Guys, if you want to support the channel, you can hit me up on PayPal. My PayPal ID is right there in the pinned message. Or you can click on the $ button below the chat box. And that allows you to send over any donation to your liking. And these super chats are immensely appreciated as they support the channel and subsequently me. And the more that I get on these lives, the more content I make. So I know I've been out of it the last week, but I fully intend on hitting it hard this next week and getting back to it. And just, it's funny, man. I'll be walking by myself or I'll be jogging, and I just randomly get this like this notion of like, man, I gotta go harder on YouTube. I gotta make more videos. I gotta attack the algorithm because I still feel like I've kind of stopped looking for that big thing, the big grand idea, because I think I've already found it, and I think for me that's YouTube. And I'm just like super like I'm dead set on giving this channel everything I have. A dream of mine, a real dream, a tangible goal. And it sounds silly, it sounds like vain, but one of those 100K subs buttons. It's stupid, but I would love, like, that would be such a big deal if I ever make it to 100,000 subs. I just feel like that would absolutely, I don't know. I'm not saying my YouTube and my channel is not a success until then, but it would mean it would mean that what I did on here was an undeniable success in a way. I like these lives that sets you apart from most YouTubers already. Yeah, that's funny, right? I feel like a lot of I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but not that many people stream on YouTube. I feel like all the young creators, they all go to TikTok. And then there's this segment of society of creators, pardon me, that streams on Twitch. But then I feel like streaming on YouTube is kind of like a hole in the market. Maybe not. You guys can tell me better than me. Banter trading. I like that name. That's dope. There's work being done to utilize pigs to grow human cells. Maybe that could be beneficial for you. Do black pill content saying how fucked your dating is. You would get there fast. Bro, that's crazy. That is so true. If I when I make like anytime I make content, like I make this video complaining about this date, and you guys know me, I'm the biggest romantic. I love women. I'm not anti-women. I'm not with all that stuff. But I inadvertently made a video with a lot of anti-female sentiment, right? Because I was complaining about the date, and that video went crazy. I got so much. It's a real thing, and sometimes I'm tempted to do so. Like, there's a certain type of content that you can make that, yeah, basically it would make me a whole lot more money and views. Like, that's real. But I don't want to do that, man. I can't. This is my company page. What does your company do? Panther trading? Like day trading, stock advice? I'm looking at your logo. Okay, now I see it. Yeah, yeah, that's dope, man. I like that. Guys, can you please hit the thumb? That would be great. If we can get some more people to hit the thumb on this live, I would really appreciate that. That would be sick. Do it for Arnie. Do it for young Arnold. Young Arnold, man. How's your healing going? Thank you for asking. Um, good. Slow and steady. You can see the black stuff. Like it's still like it's healing. It's getting there. It's getting better. Um, it's been so good being in Belgium. I've never like it's so much better than last summer. It's been really good to be back. I appreciate you asking though, Lindsay. The biggest achievement of being in Belgium is I haven't smoked weed. I have done edibles, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like I'm not against weed per se. I'm not against like the effects of weed, but I am against the fact that I still use tobacco to smoke and just smoking in general. It's just a terrible idea, man. Putting something on fire and inhaling it, like that's some medieval shit. Though I love it, don't get me wrong, but I'm all about longevity. I'm taking all these nootropics, all these fish oils, magnesium, zinc, tonkat ali to be younger, to be stronger, to do longevity, and then I go and smoke, and it's just something I want to get rid of. Um, I also suspect that a big part of my so-called weed addiction is actually nicotine addiction, cloaked as weed addiction. And nicotine addiction will have you smoking almost daily. When you take edibles, you don't do edibles every day. Like I'll take maybe one or two edibles a week now. That's way less than my 5 or 6 joints a week. Any side effects? Poor sleep when I don't smoke. Sleep qualities. I mean, but that's something that should get better with time, and it always does. So yeah, a side effect is more irritable. Poor sleep goes hand in hand, obviously. Um, those are like the negative side effects. The positives is, and I had a hard weekend. That's why I'm tired now. But in general, if I don't smoke, it's like I also need way less sleep, and I can keep going. Also, just my ability to find words to come up with original thoughts, creativity, drive, all of that goes through the roof. So it's way better for me personally to not smoke weed. Um, I have this like drive that allows me to attack life when I don't smoke. But sometimes I also take it too far and I get angry or I get like I blow up, and then that's not great. But I just have a lot bigger of a motor when I don't smoke. Guys, if you appreciate the channel, consider hitting the super chat button below the chat box. Any donation is greatly appreciated. And if you can't donate, I totally get it. Totally get it. But you know what you can do? Hit the like button. Like doesn't cost a thing, and I would appreciate it. In the meantime, hit me with your best questions. I'm here, I'm listening. This is not a green screen. This is live and direct. This is really happening. So whatever you guys want to talk about. Have you tried ashwagandha? Yeah, I didn't love ashwagandha. I've also tried lemon balm. It's like, it's all right. Not great either, honestly, in my opinion. Um, a lot of these, like nootropics, man, are so hit and miss for me. So nootropics, guys, for those that don't know, they're like called smart drugs, but it's basically just like a lot of herbal stuff that works, but some of the stuff doesn't work. Like caffeine is considered a nootropic, magnesium, zinc, fish oil, but then also stuff like tonkat ali, ashwagandha, and like a lot of the stuff, man, doesn't do anything for me. All right, guys. Do you have more questions? Because then you have to start asking them. Because really, not a lot of people are asking questions. So, and not a lot of people are hitting the like. So that makes me want to sign off. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in life so far? Um, that when you try to force things, it never works. It's always better to surrender to things. That's why they always do that. They say that like water is the way, but it's real. And I still try to force things. I still try to force things, but can't force things. And when you operate out of fear, and fear of losing somebody or something, you're always gonna lose that person or that thing. Always. If you're scared you're gonna lose your partner, you've already lost them. It's a matter of time. Because your actions will dictate. Like your fear will dictate your actions. And you'll find a way to self sabotage. That's what I would say. Those are like some, yeah, those are the main ones. I'll add to that one. Another thing I've learned is that you can analyze things to death, and you can look at it from all angles. I think you're making the best decision, the most well informed decision. But there's too many variables in life. Luck is also a big factor. You need a lot of luck in life. But then you also can put yourself in a position to get lucky. So there's that. But those are some of the biggest things, I would say. Thank you, Ali. You're responsible for like 50% of the questions so far. I appreciate you. Good question. Yep, I agree. By the way, guys, I'm still also taking on new clients to work with. So if that's something that interests you guys, um, feel free to inform. My PayPal ID is also my contact email. It's in the pinned message up top. So, for example, just yesterday, I had a video call with one of my clients. If you're trying to get in on that, if you're trying to work with me, what I offer is mentorship, coaching, if you will. Somebody like a good, wise friend to have in your corner that's going to listen with empathy, but also with very solution oriented thinking. So if you're in a rut, you're trying to change things up, let me know if that's something that you want to do. We can make it happen. We can make it happen. Also, I would appreciate you guys hitting the like button on this live. And if I don't get any more questions right now, that might be it for today. But you guys are seeing pretty tame, pretty unengaged, which is fine. It's a Sunday. I think I talked about a bunch of relevant stuff. Like my main concern is always like making a good video for the people coming watching this later. So I can leave it up and have them enjoy the content. So I think this is gonna should be fine with this one. So unless you guys have any important questions left. That might be it for today. Dun, 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 dun. Nothing? We good? Looks like we're good. It looks like we're good. What's up, Jaya? How you doing, buddy? I was gonna sign off soon, but if you have anything relevant to bring to the table in the form of a good question, we can stretch it out. Society has changed very much after COVID-19. Uh huh. True that. I would be inclined to agree. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll be back real soon with more content. I appreciate y'all as always. And now that the healing is getting better, and now that I am getting back to my old self and my powers are returning, don't you think something is wrong today? What do you mean? What's wrong today? I'm not sure. Society and people. I don't know. I think society, by definition, has always been fucked. I think it's just kind of like now with technology and AI and phones and social media, it's just on steroids. I think it's just how we are as a species. I don't think it's necessarily like a change. I think everything is just more hyperbolic now. That's what I would say. And on that note, I'm out. Peace.